Happy December 1st and welcome back to Advent for 2023. Today we are going to open our first package of wool and we're going to learn about our first tradition. So the way that they've organized all of the wool this year for their wool around the world or traditions around the world is every package is labeled with a Christmas tradition from a different country. So I've already done some research on today's, which is the Gavla goat, which I think is the correct pronunciation. And I don't know if they picked an exciting one for day one or if I just fell down a rabbit hole, but I have so much to tell you about the Gavla goat. If it ends up being this much information every day, these are going to be some long videos and I'm going to be in trouble because I have so much to tell you about this goat from Sweden. But our wool blend here, tradition origin Sweden, and this is a mix of mohair and flax. Flax is a plant-based fiber. It's how we make linen. And mohair is the goat in the Gavla goat blend. So let's see what it looks like. It looks like mohair, for sure. I guess I'll just put that back. Perfect. It's definitely mohair. You can feel it. It's got those long staples. It is a drapey fiber. Both linen and mohair are. So this is going to be a really kind of denser yarn inside this coat, which is going to be interesting to see how all these different fibers play together. It's really shiny. It doesn't have any crimp, and it's going to make just a dense, soft, and halo-y yarn. This yarn's going to have a halo. It's going to, I don't know if you can see it there. The fibers are going to stick out. The fiber is going to look really brushed in the area where this fiber is. Because we got a white fiber today, I'm really glad that I did some pre-planning. So I'm going to use, I think I have plenty of, this is actually a fractal spin. So it's got greens and yellows and it'll kind of like fade into each other. This has been used in the coat already. This section here that starts off really yellow, because that was the beginning of the fractal spin, and then goes into the green, was the first time that I used these colors. I would have liked for the white to be the contrast, I would have liked for the white to be the main color in this next section, but unfortunately I just finished a white main color section. So the white will be the contrast and the background will be more of the green. Actually, that's making me rethink that whole plan. Now I'm going with it. I also need to open up today's motif, which has lovingly been put into this folder for day number 1. I don't know what it is. I didn't put these in the folders. My partner did. Got a large snowflake motif. And because our green is going to be the main color and white is our contrast, that is going to be the final look. So I'm really excited to tell you all about this Gavla goat. There's a lot to say. Let me set up my spinning wheel and I will get back to spin and talk about it. The spinning wheel I'm going to be using today, and probably a lot this month, is the Daedalus Martin. This is my newest wheel and it's also quickly becoming my favorite wheel. This wheel is fully meant for travel. So the case that it's sitting in, I'll show you someday, folds up into its own carrying case. The flyer and motor systems are housed inside the carrying case, and once it's all folded up, you can store all of the materials in this half, along with up to 4 ounces of fiber that just fold up into a neat little box that can be carried anywhere. I also bought the external battery, so it truly can go anywhere. Even just taking it from this room, the craft room, to the bedroom, to the living room, it is so convenient. It is so easy to just pick up and go, either just to pick up the box itself, even to fold it all back up takes not even a minute. This is quickly becoming my favorite travel wheel. It is brand new to Daedalus. They just released them this year, and they were actually available for the first time at Rhinebeck, which is where I picked up this one. So again, I'm not here to sell for anybody, but if you're interested, it's a great wheel. I've been really happy with it. It's also pretty quiet, so hopefully you're not gonna hear I've changed to a microphone that's on my face, so hopefully you won't hear so much wheel or so much background. We've got almost zero sound buffering in this apartment. Hey, editing me here to tell you that this did in fact not record the whole time, and I wouldn't figure out how to get better audio for a few days after this, so I'm sorry about that. But it does get better, I promise. Okay, bye. Okay, so if you visit the official website for the Gavla goat, or the Yevla I think it's pronounced. It has been a long time since I've taken IPA, but I think that's correct. You'll learn about the Swedish tradition in the town of Gavla, which is the goat that made this town famous. Every year, a group of community members get together and build a 13-meter tall goat out of straw. That's almost 45 feet tall. The tradition started back in 1966, and since 1986, there have actually been 2 goats per year. A second, which is called the Yule goat, is built by the Natural Science Club, and the Gavla goat is built by the Southern Merchants, which are, as far as I can tell, they're both community groups within the town of Gavla. The website also explains that the idea for the giant goat is based on the traditional Swedish straw goat. From what I read, the traditional Yule goat is an ancient symbol, sometimes regarded as an invisible spirit who watches over Yuletide preparations to make sure that they're done properly. I think my favorite part of this tradition, though, and I'm quoting Wikipedia here, is in older Scandinavian society, a popular Christmas prank was to place this Yule goat in a neighbor's house without them noticing. The family successfully pranked had to get rid of it in the same way. Which just sounds delightful, and I am 100% here for the Christmas pranks where you tried to hide a goat in your friend's house and you can't get rid of it until you successfully hide it in someone else's house. So if you're my friends, you should probably start to be on the lookout if I visit you in the Yuletide season for a goat somewhere in your house. You're welcome. Their website will also tell you about how the goat was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records in 1985. And it gives some seemingly unrelated information about why there's a webcam and why it's blurry, saying it's so people from all around the world can view the goat live. That's all the info from the website. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find plot twists. Because if you ask the citizens of Gavla why the goat is famous, they'll tell you stories about arson. Yearly Christmas arson. This poor goat cannot catch a break. And it's like part of the myth and legend of this thing, because it gets ceremoniously destroyed every year. And it's not a fun prank that's sanctioned by the city. This is considered highly illegal and carries with it jail time, which I found was usually 3 months. And this is happening frequently. And when I say frequently, I mean more years than not. Out of the 58 goats that have been built over the years, 37 of them have been destroyed. 67% of the time, this goat gets destroyed. Usually burned down, but they've also been smashed to pieces, hit by a car, kicked to pieces, and have been stolen? Just like a 45-foot goat disappeared from town square overnight. I just want to run down the history of this goat for the last dozen years, including some of the security measures that they have tried to put into place to make sure that this doesn't happen. And also, I want to tell you exactly what happened. In 2011, they covered the goat in a sheet of ice. So they basically just sprayed it with a hose and covered it with water, and it's freezing. So they created this coat of armor out of ice for the goat. He burned down. Although they did mention that the ice had melted some before he burned down, so the ice shield, it's hard to tell if it would have worked or not because it melted. In 2012, he burned down. In 2013, they soaked this goat in flame retardant. Soaked him head to toe. He burned down. In 2014, at least 3 reported arson attempts were made against the Gavla goat. He survived! In 2015, he was burned down and, quote, a 26-year-old man fleeing the scene with a singed face, smelling of gasoline, and holding a lighter in his hand was arrested. Under questioning, he admitted to committing the offense, adding that he was drunk at the time, and that in retrospect, it was an extremely bad idea, end quote. In 2016, the goat was burned down by a man after celebrations for his 50th birthday party. In 2017, they added a double fence, camera, and stationed guards around the goat. He survived. In 2018, in addition to the fence, the guards, and the cameras, they added a taxi station, I guess. That was my best understanding of it, to increase foot traffic to the area to kind of deter people from doing any goat arsonry. He survived. 2019, they added a 24-hour canine unit, and even though there were some close calls, the goat survived, making this the first time in 53 years of giant goathood that the Gavla goat survived more than 2 years in a row. Which is so exciting, but also, what? Because most years this is just a 45-foot bonfire waiting to happen. Are you invested in this goat yet? Because I am. I switched to spinning from the fold. I think I'm just getting a better result that way. In 2020, they had a lot of the same security measures that they had in 2018, 2019. But due to the pandemic, guests were advised not to gather around the goat. I also read that most of the traditional celebrations held around Advent were canceled that year, which makes sense. Survived! 4-year-long streak, killing it. In 2021, I couldn't find any info about the security that they had in place that year. The goat was unfortunately burned down by a 40-year-old drunk man who served a 6-month jail sentence. And in 2022, the goat was not only moved to a new location, they also added an HD live stream, which was pixelated, as mentioned by their website, but gave people a place to see it in HD 24/7. Oh, he survived. So if you, like me, are now invested in the welfare of this goat, he goes up in 2 days, the first Sunday of Advent, and of course you can follow the pixelated live stream to make sure that nothing happens to this giant Gavla goat. You could become a Gavla goat vigilante. I'm also just now realizing that the flax in this blend is like the straw that the goat is made out of, which makes this blend even cooler. I'm really hoping that, maybe not every day, but I'm hoping that some of the days are as exciting as this one. I certainly did not expect the twists, and knowing that I'm gonna get to learn and share all about traditions from around the world is really exciting to me. I'm looking forward to 24 days of learning more about Christmas traditions. Maybe I'll pick one up for myself. Maybe you'll pick one up. Who knows? But it's gonna be fun to learn. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this yarn, and I'll be back when it's done. This is the finished yarn. I just wanted to hop on here real fast so that you can see it before I wind it up. It is very drapey. It's a little stiff, I would say. That's the term I would use. It doesn't like fold in half nicely. It ended up having this really oatmealish color, and I feel like even though I didn't feel a lot of linen in the yarn itself, it's mostly got linen qualities. But that's it. If you wanted to know just how linen-like it is, I just wound this, and the center has not collapsed at all. It has no spring. It is just like perfect. Hey, I'm back again to tell you that I will in fact not be back to show you when I finish that, as I decided to show you tomorrow. So there's no video here of me saying goodbye, but thank you so much for being here, and goodbye. See you tomorrow. Also, can we talk about, just for a second, can we just talk about mohair? It's beautiful.